if that's okay. And we're going to go ahead. The goal for this meeting is to complete the data gathering and fact finding that we've been doing since day one on the current village marketing efforts, past and current village marketing efforts. So this will conclude that requirement from our charter. Yes! So I'm going to call the meeting to order at whatever time it is.
2:17.
At 2:17, thank you very much. Ray is not here. He's on his way to California, unfortunately. And Chuck is not going to be here because he's sick.
Very sick.
His nurse is here. She got him to come for a little while, but Chuck is sick. So welcome to all the guests. Appreciate you being here. And can we accept the agenda as it is presented? Do we have any changes to it? If not, do I have a motion to accept?
I move that we accept the agenda for today's meeting.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
There's hardly any of us here. And the minutes of the September meeting, which I apologize profusely for not getting those out to you sooner, but within the last 2 hours, have you had a chance to take a quick look at them? No, it's not your fault. It's my fault. Do we have any changes to the minutes that anyone noted? Okay. Can we have a motion to accept the meeting minutes from the September meeting? Nancy, you're up. Make the motion.
Yes, I have a motion to please accept the
We
meeting
have a
minutes.
second?
I'll second.
Good. All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Minutes are accepted, approved as they are. So, to start the meeting, first of all, I want to thank all of you guys on the committee that worked so hard to put together the initial recommendations that we presented at the CMPAC meeting. That was a huge group effort. It was a lot of work. As I noted at the CMPAC meeting, those initial recommendations represented more than 200 hours of man-hours of everyone's time. So appreciated that. The other key thing that somebody pointed out, and it's one of those good news, bad news things, is that those recommendations come from over 220 years of experience on that committee, which just tells you how old we are. That's the bad news. So the good news is that this group represents many, many, many years of marketing experience and expertise, and I think that the recommendations reflected that. So in spite of the fact that we're all old, we still did a good job. So let's get started. The presentation on the Gadadi marketing. Someone made a comment about why are we doing this now when we've already basically made recommendations and acknowledged that we had some questions about Gadadi's capabilities. And actually the answer came from Nancy. The reason why we're doing this is because we need to understand the marketing that has gone on and how effective it's been, because anybody new that comes in, since there's an RFP going out, anybody new that comes in would want to know that information as well, so that they don't have to reinvent the wheel when they come on board, whoever they are, so that they can see what worked, what didn't work, what was effective, why wasn't that effective. So that's why we're going through this exercise at this point. And Jamie's going to represent Gadadi today, and she's going to go through the presentation for us. Jamie, you got it.
I'm just going to represent HSV, and we'll talk about the slides.
Good deal.
Which is, I don't know which one you want.
You just keep going down,
Okay.
and we'll go from there.
Oh, I apologize, guys.
And do any of y'all need a copy of the actual slide deck? But I think-
Is this the correct one? Is that the one? It starts out about
Yeah,
the daddy?
about, yeah.
Okay, perfect.
And so several of these we're just going to kind of go through. If you guys got this a while back, and there's information here you can read about it. This is just about Gadadi themselves and their background. Because we only have 15 minutes. Yeah, so we're gonna run through these. There's a whole lot of them. So I'm not gonna stay on this slide. So they click through. So this was the paid media strategy and buy that was put in place with them. I'm gonna have to come up and come a little closer. The idea
You're like me.
let me squint here. You know, the leads and efforts to support our strategic marketing plan. Whoa!
Yeah,
Okay,
I
that-
can
I was
get
just
a
trying to make
little
me
bit
sick
bigger.
in the middle of it. But they worked with our team to determine Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3 paid media strategies. And we gave that out to you guys earlier in the year. If you need another copy of that, I'll be more than happy to provide it to you. But they integrated a number of different strategies that they worked specifically with Village Homes and Land and the over those strategies. But they also worked with the trade show program to support paid media around that. Most of this was in private homes. It was in ARP. And you guys got the spreadsheet, and you knew where all of those ads and everything were, what the cost of them were. Is that better? Yeah, that's fine. Okay. And basically what they did is they employed the research and data to determine those target markets based on what was laid out in... Sorry? Oh, sorry. I thought there was a question. Based on the contract that I sent you on the targets that were laid out in that. That's they use Google Analytics, they've done reports, they've done insights, all of those types of things to support that paid media strategies and buys. As we go through this, these are just background slides for what they've done. Again, I don't want to sit here and read all of this to you. You have it all. What I'd like to do is get to showing you some of the things that they've done.
Jamie, can I just ask a question on this then?
Mm-hmm.
Do you, on all of those points, have we come back and sort of graded how we felt they performed on each of those so that we know where we're lacking or they did really well at or that kind of thing?
I don't think that we've done what we would call a grade on each and every one of them because a lot of these things were done much before. It's been over a 3-year period. They've had the contract for 3 years.
Yes.
And so it's kind of hard to see which one of the particular ads generated a particular sale. And, you know, we realized that as we were going through those things. And so what we as staff have come to the conclusion is we did not feel like the program that we had in place was making us stand out in the marketplace.
Just as a whole.
As a whole.
Okay.
We could not, we did not feel like we could lead back to particular ads or anything like that. But that was more our input of data on the lead system in the Lasso system. So could we say that was the fault of the ad?
Right.
Nope. We also believed that the other problems that we've had and that we're correcting now, we were not taking full advantage of all of the lead generations that were available to us through all of those systems, nor were we collecting all of the data that could be collected from those lead generations. As a perfect example, I've just been working with ARP. We had 4,125 leads that were generated from that. 504 of those actually clicked through to our website. Did we collect all of the data from that? We had not previously, but I have since that time now gotten that entire 4,125 database. So now we have to decide what we're going to do with that database, because that was from an April, May of this year
Right.
run of the ad, and you'll see that in here.
Okay.
And so do we want to go back and do something with that differently because of how we're changing things now that we don't have home and lands, and we're going to have a new relationship with the realtors. We're meeting with them on October the 28th. And we want to sit with them and ask, do you want to use these databases differently? And I've gotten all of the leads from private communities. I've gotten all of the ones from ARP, and I've gotten all the ones from Ideal Living. And so we're now up to about 15,000 leads that we could then regenerate through a system if we decided we wanted to do something differently. Did that answer your question? Pardon?
You want a pointer for up there?
Oh, I don't think so.
Okay.
You can point if you want.
No.
These were
He's got a pointer. That's
the targets that they were given through the tiers that they were given originally. So you were asking how did they pick their audiences? These were this is the data they had to begin with.
These were given to them.
These were given to them in the very beginning. Okay? All right?
Next.
Did the body have a recommendation, and as opposed to what was given to them?
Well, these were what they were told were our primary target audience. And so based on that, they made recommendations on publications they thought fit that data point.
So they didn't
They
have
did
any
not-
methods to validate or go back and redo anything
They
differently?
had nothing to tell us who our clientele was. They didn't come in and tell us who our clientele was. They took the data from us. So, okay, next slide. All right. And again, these were the tier 1 buys that we talked about. And again, remembering that big spreadsheet that we talked about that had all of these on there. The Jacksonville Air Force Base newsletter. There was a lot of military involvement. The chamber, the Springs, Hot Springs Village chamber map, Hot Springs Village Live. Tier 1 was local. How do we get to that local? Understanding that Arkansas was our biggest population drawn. These were the ones that they picked for primary ad for that. Did we skip one?
You want to skip this one?
Okay, no, I thought we had skipped one there. Then the next level for tier 2 was moving out from just our local into statewide. These again were the publications they said recommended that they felt met our need the best. And all of these are ones that we had ads in this past year. And we'll see samples of those. National publications that they recommended, Ideal Living, the Fishing Calendar, ARP, and the Military Officers Association. They particularly picked the calendar because they also had a trade show associated with that. This is a good example of one that we've already pulled out of the buy realm, which is not worth it for us. As a good example down here on the military officers ads, these were fairly pricey ads for us, and our analysis of it between with staff and our look at all of these is that it was, these would have been good support pieces for us had we been actively doing anything with the military to support recruitment in those areas. But we were doing nothing in recruitment in that market. So this, to us, last year was just sort of a wasted buy. It got awareness in that market, but we didn't have any recruitment going, so we didn't have anything to support. So my recommendation going forward in a calendar buy, which we don't have in the plan as of yet, is that we not do this unless we're going to actively work with the military population to recruit in that area.
Here's the next one.
Okay, and again, these are continuing to go down that same line, Arkansas Parks and Recreation and Tourism, the ARP Digital, you're beginning to get down into some more of the digital line items, digital and social media items here, the things that we elected to participate in, in our media buys. Private communities, this is one of the major online communities where we get a lot of referrals from. I don't have the exact number, it was well over, I don't want to misquote it, so I'm not going to say. But private communities, Ideal Living, and ARP Digital were are the three major ones that we got referrals from, and we got almost 12,000 last year. Again, this was the media breakdown percentage-wise of how they had worked with us on website, social media, HSV local, the statewide campaigns, national publications, and sponsorships. Let me just tell you a little bit about sponsorships there. There was a very small, or 10% of the pie there that was allocated to that, but we didn't actually spend all of that. And this was similar to what you had suggested, Dan, that we participate in local charity items, but this was actual paid sponsorships, not actually donating golf or things along that line. These were actually paid sponsorships into programs. Okay, this is where we actually get into some of the print ads that were in various publications that were out there. Just to give you, we wanted to give you tons of different samples that we've had over different publications. One of the things that you'll see in there that we've been trying to incorporate, we made the 50 list, we made the Ideal Living list. We've been trying really hard to diversify our populations in most of the ads. We've been trying to make sure that we had women, we had men, we had young, we had older, we had pickleball, we had lakes, we had golf. We were trying to really diversify all of the different types of things that you could see in the village. I don't know if you want to pass around the brochure. Yeah. This is one of the brochures that was recently produced for the village. But anyway, it's one of the things that we were really working on. So where you see the new homes and lands availability here, if we proceed with these types of ads, we will, as I said, on October the 28th, we're meeting with the local realtors. We already have 12 that have responded to our invitation to that event. We sent out over 100 invitations to it.
Jamie, those are individual real estate agents?
Individual real estate agents.
Not necessarily the owner or...
We did not send to the MASA, like RE/MAX. We sent to each individual real estate agent. So like I know I have like 5 that are coming from Joe Stewart's group. And he's with Trademark Realty. Okay. And but because we wanted to make sure that they all knew about the program and that the program wouldn't be dominated by their overarching, company, that they individually could buy in or be a part of the program. So that's where we see that relationship being able to portray an ad. So anyway, these are, again, just some samples of what was out there. Again, these are more, and we tried to have a variety of different kinds depending upon what publication. If it were going into more of a lake or outdoor type of publication, it might be the one on the right. If it was more in a natural state, like in the Arkansas publication, it might look like the one on the right. If it were more in a family publication or in a vacation, or RV living, or that's probably not appropriate for that one. But for more of a vacationing, visit us, it might be the one on the left. This is the Retire in the National State ad that was placed, and this is going in the Arkansas publication. Excuse my itchy nose today. This, I was trying to.
Oh, sorry.
Anyway, these are just samples of them. Again, one of the things that we were trying very hard to do in the last few months was to try to get consistency in our marketing, so that if you saw it in one publication and then began to see it in another publication, you begin to recognize, that this was the village, so that people would go, oh, I saw that before. So that if you began to see that 6 to 7 times, you began to get association with the village along the way. That's why so many of them look very similar.
And Jamie, the place to live your dreams, is that our tagline?
Yes,
That's right.
right there. Yep. And that was one of the things that we really pushed very hard in the last month to change with them, and it was a bit of a push and a bit of a fight. Can you go back one slide?
Sure.
One of the things, and you'll see on the front of the brochure here,
Is this the right one?
I guess it's one back. I was trying to get to the one that says staycation.
Yeah.
Or,
Anyway,
oh, there we go.
um,
That's the one on the right here, Jamie.
Yeah, one of the things that we were really trying to get away from with people is that before we changed this ad, it said Hot Springs Village, a year-round staycation. Okay? It did not say living a year-round staycation. What we're really trying to push with them in their messaging is that this isn't the place just to come and have a vacation and leave us. We wanted you to live here. If you want to come here and vacation and get to experience it, but we wanted you to take the effort to find out if this was where you wanted to live. And so you'll see that on the front of the brochure. We were advised that staycation was the new and upcoming word, and I personally don't like it, but a lot of the new up-and-comings that are coming out do, and so they told me I was too old. So.
And are we going with the blue brand or the gold brand, or what?
They both are part of our marketing brand.
Okay.
We have both of those colors in our branding,
Okay.
so we can. I can get you all of the branding that was put out. So,
I see.
Jamie, when you say that our theme is what was it?
Staycation.
No,
no, if you go all the way
the
over,
place to live your
it's
dreams. I
the living
think.
your dreams
So
is the actual tagline.
Where did we test that?
Yeah.
That was done long before I came here,
Mhm.
and that's been the tagline for how many years?
Wow. I don't
Actually, it
know.
wasn't that particular phrase, but it was about, live your dream.
Live your dreams.
Right.
Okay.
But have we done any research to find out if it's working or if it works for us?
I would say probably no, because we haven't had anybody doing that kind of research for the village on anything at this
Can I
point.
just help you here for a bit,
Sure.
if someone wants to find it? That was done in the April meeting in 2018, where that was the last thing that was my assignment from the government's committee, was to finish the mission, vision, tagline, and values.
Mhm.
So it's in those minutes, and then the final product has been the one we've had since then.
But was it tested? It is against?
No, I'm just saying that's
Okay,
when it
okay.
happened,
All
so
right, so yeah. No.
it was not,
So it's like
nothing
no.
was done since then.
So that could be part of our thing coming forward in the plan with the new company, in part of the RFP, is to test that.
Yeah, key copy points should always be tested, and we're not doing that, so
Okay.
we should
So-
make sure that they do.
All right, so, and I'll move. All right, so these are the discovery package information that they've put forward. Again, they had, and they're basically here putting forth information that we've given them that we've had, additional leads and durations of the campaign, or during the duration of the campaign. We've actually now are up to 63 for this year. But we had asked them to assist us with digital marketing efforts surrounding our trade shows and our discovery packages. And so pretty much all this slide is feeding back information that we had given them prior, up to this date. And it's not hard to say that they increased by 54% when our leads were pretty small the year before. So, okay, so it's all relative.
Percentages all look better.
Well, it's all relative. These are some of the digital display ads that click up for you on the internet. If you clicked in and asked for our name, you're going to get some of these that click in for you. So at least we've gotten some nice ads. But again, we're not consistent in what we're doing, or our colors, or anything like that. And so even though we have them, they're not consistent with our advertising or our branding.
But that's that's what I was noticing, and that's why I was wondering, were we trying to stay with gold and blue? Was it sticking with brown and yellow? I mean, I don't know.
And the ones that are more of the turquoise and the bright green are our branding.
Yeah.
We do have some red, sort of a burnt red that is part of our branding message.
Mm-hmm.
These are definitely not our branding message.
Why do we have multiples rather than just one?
I'm sorry?
Oh, I'm sorry, why do we have multiple rather than just one?
I think the main reason that they had multiples in the beginning stages of it was so that it could be used across multiple product lines. Shirts, different, all different products on the website, things like that. But we're trying right now to try to draw all that back in and try to get down to a singular line of product. And we're going more toward that kind of a teal blue, green color pattern.
How many shirts have we sold in the past year?
Pardon?
How many shirts have we sold in the past year?
Well, we have a lot of them that are going out through the golf that have our logo and everything on them.
With golf packages or?
People, if you see everybody that walks around, all the staff have the Hot Springs Village on them and everything else, but they're 15 different million colors and everything else. But, again, I'm trying to get them branded.
Branded, dream living, but
Or at least get them branded with the logo appropriately.
Yes.
But, so let's get at least one thing done right. So, anyway, yeah. All right. These are some of the other ones that have shown up digitally across Facebook. They're also in Twitter. They're in Instagram. They're a little bit everywhere. They're all over the place. And again, both of these were actually done very early on in the year, before we, right as they started the changeover to Explore the Village. So,
The Kadati did both of those?
Kadati has done a creative on all of these. These are ones they've done. Okay. These are social media posts and boosts that they've done throughout the year. They did just recently come and do, one of the things that we did request is new pictures of the village. I think if I see this one picture on the left, one more time, I'm gonna scream. But so we tried to get some new drone pictures. We got new golf pictures. We got the new videos, those types of things, so that we were getting some diversity in our things that were going out. I hate these particular things because they can be so deceiving, as far as, clicks and views and everything else. To me, they're not really relative because, once you start drilling down on the numbers, you can really see what really is and isn't relative on this. So I don't pay very much attention to this particular page. What we do is we go in on our side and begin to drill down on these ads. So I don't pay attention to this.
But part of
Explain.
the, sorry, but part of their, on that first or second slide, whatever it was, it says they were doing the Google Analytics. And so that was kind of where I was asking, is if they are and they did that, I mean, these numbers have to represent something.
Well, they're going in and giving you a total of numbers, but they're not giving you, as we sat down with Ray and we sat down and looked at individual slices of Google Analytics where we looked at particular, this doesn't tell me where we actually placed the ad and what effect it had for us. It just has clicks or views or whatever. It doesn't tell me what effect any particular thing had.
Okay, they're just counting a click. That was
This is
it.
just over
Okay.
general time.
So that's really
Okay.
analytics.
All right.
Capturing
So
clicks.
how much money did we spend on Google and Facebook?
I'd have to go pull that sheet to be able to tell you that. I'm sorry, I don't have that right at my
That's not a
fingertips
lot
right
of
this
impressions,
minute.
12 million. total.
So, okay.
Yeah. And this is the same thing around the, specifically to the ones that they had on discovery packages. These are generalized, and I hate using these numbers because they don't tell you exactly around when it happened and what was specific, because that same number total could be a grouping of other things that are around that and not specific to that particular.
Jamie, question, is that because we didn't ask them to break it down, or was it the question that they don't know how to break it down?
No, I think they know how to break it down. I just think that most companies want to make it look really great on their charts and stuff. And this is how it had been being presented up until the time I got here. You notice that this was June through August. And when I came in, we started doing our own analytics instead and saying, this isn't telling us what we need to do, and we need to be able to be more effective in our analytical data.
The date, the 3 months up there, is what year is it from?
This year. And so,
So part of our RFP, we would be detailing what these are great examples to use.
Absolutely.
As saying what we needed.
So, all right. All right, so this was, I'm sorry, I'm gonna get a print, I got something in my ball, it's not really social media strategies. Okay, and, this was when they were doing the bi-weekly content calendar for us for our social media and marketing. And you'll probably see in the next few slides here that this was one of the areas that I agree with. We felt was very weak because, when you outsource this to someone to do for you, they can't be very reactionary to the things that are actually going on in your agency. And so we've actually already pulled this back into the village. And Joseph is doing it now, and he puts things out at least daily. And he has a calendar, a 2-week calendar, very similar to theirs, but he can react to immediate things that are happening. Yeah, this is their calendar.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. And so, you really can't tell much about this. I really couldn't see the other one.
Blinding.
I'm in front of the computer and I can't.
But basically what it would do is it would have, our Facebook and Instagram and everything all in here, and it would all just be pretty generic across all of those, channels. And we would, as a team of the office, would approve that, yes, these were okay to go out. But, when you're trying to do it 2 weeks out in advance, it was, it's kind of hard to look at that and be able to say, that's going to be effective all the way out to October 4th. And then all of a sudden something would happen on October 3rd and we would have to change the channel. And our feeling was that for us to be able to react with them fast enough, it was easier for us to actually implement the strategy than it was for some outside source. And when we didn't have anybody, that was probably a great way to keep us on those channels, but we really weren't using those channels to their most effective way. The other piece of that is that when we were in markets, we were really not doing as good a job of boosting out into the markets. They did some boosting in markets while we were there, but they weren't working with the local medias. They weren't working with, like I used the example that if we had Chuck Miller there, I'd have every media source in the area wanting to do interviews and doing all of that, and talking about why HSV is great and why you want to be there and doing all of that kind of thing. But basically they were boosting our story, but not really generating the stories we needed to have. And I think we can just do a better job of doing that for them, because we know who we're going to have, we know what our stories are, we know who the great people are that we want to have with us, and how we can make that work for us the best.
So will it be sort of a living calendar? So when Chuck goes and gets another hole-in-one,
Every 45 years.
we won't do September 27th as it's planned, but we'll drop that in.
It'll drop out, and Chuck will become the premier guy.
And the Solid Star Scottish Festival will happen another time. whatever it
Absolutely.
is, okay.
And we've also found that by having it in-house, we have a much more living face, as I put on Facebook. We really know much more about what's going on a daily basis than they ever could as an outside agency. I.e., we know the story about the little boy that's won the MPN award, and we can do that story about him, which would be very hard for them to be able to do. These are some collateral pieces that they've helped to create for the website, for us, for social media and website and trade shows, things like that. This is actually a backdrop that we use for various golf events that we go to.
Wait, there's Chuck right there. I can see him.
He's right
There
there.
he is, right there. There he is.
They're all right-handed.
You're right here. There he is.
Jamie, and I apologize, I have to leave, Pam, I'm sorry, and all of you have to leave. All of these I see as great background.
Collateral.
There's nothing in there that tells people how they're going to save money by moving here, all the things that I've heard from the people. Because as we saw with that Ideal Living, they've got 171 different communities, so there's nothing in here to me that makes us different.
Well, and that's one of the things that we've always said in our marketing plan, the very first page, was we must stand out among
Right.
all of that. And so that's exactly one of the things that we need to put on the new ads that are coming out.
Mhm.
Click our cost calculator on our page.
Right.
We are, and those types of things need to be included in it.
Yeah,
You're
because
absolutely
I
right.
see it and I look at it, and I did look at things before I moved here, and I thought, well, that's really nice. But I moved here not knowing that it was a hell of a lot less expensive. I knew we had the 9 golf courses and 11 lakes and all that, but I didn't know what I was getting into that I really love, because there was nothing of that type in there.
Absolutely. I
Okay.
totally agree.
I apologize again,
And that's
I have
what's
to-
number one on our front Facebook page.
Okay, thanks. See you next time.
Thank you, Chuck, for coming.
Um,
Fun tonight.
Yeah, thanks.
These are the rack cards. I think we passed those out. We're beginning to do specific things for specific amenities, so that if we're working a pickleball convention, we would have something specific for that particular thing. Golf has always been the easy one because that's one of our biggest ones, but we do want to start to create creative that works toward all of our other amenities so that we can attract to those areas as well, niche markets. This is This is the brochure. You have it in your hand. We don't. And we do have, one of the things that it did show there is we have these already distributed in 8 welcome centers across Arkansas. And then we're also, Pam and I were just talking about, we're going and delivering to chambers of commerce and working with the state of Arkansas as well for these. If you want them, you can come by the POA office. They're at the front desk. If you wish to distribute them to your friends and
May I ask
family.
a question?
Sure.
So, could we also distribute these to the Little Rock Airport? We did receive a suggestion through Nextdoor, or somebody mentioned that, if we haven't done that yet.
I'm going there on the 31st of October, and I'll take a whole handful with me and put them in there on my way to catch a plane.
They have a visitors, do they have a
They
visitors
do. They have a
reading?
visitors counter
We
right
don't
there.
currently have anything in there.
I don't think we have
I don't think
anything
we
in there
do.
right now. But that'll be a great time for me to take them there. All right. Media relations, most of this is when we have an issue that's going on within the village. We have called on the Benatti firm to help us with how we position ourselves. Or if we have situations like a hole-in-one and we need to take that out across the media nationwide, they've helped us with things like that as well.
It's okay, Dan.
I drank it, it was fine.
All right.
She's still alive
These
to
are
talk about
some
it.
of the other media highlight markets that they've had us in
can get a
with
fresh
magazines, the Centennial Record, on television, these types of things. Again, a lot of this had to do with Chuck, where we were able to get his story. You can see 81-year-old puts 2 hole-in-ones. So those kinds of stories drive us a lot of extra free coverage. So.
Oh. Do you have that in there double?
No, this is another one. These are just continuations of places where we've been able to get stories about the village in these various publications. And we just this past week, we pushed it out. We're in RV Life magazine for our new RV park.
Do we have a dollar value of that?
We don't have the value of what it is to us, but I can get that for us. Because these are all the ones that were for free for us, but I can get a value.
Yeah, normally the agency, when they handle it, will give you a dollar value of the.
I'll ask them for that. These again are some of the posts. This is one, I can't see that. Is that a
That's from the Sentinel Record.
Sentinel Record? So those are some of the stories and stuff that have come up. So, and I don't want us to take too much time here. Again, these are just reviews of things that they've happened for us. There's Chuck.
There's Chuck.
See, he left
too
too early.
soon.
Yeah. See all the great things. Can see we milked that one for everything it was worth.
He's older than dirt.
So,
Ooh,
anyway,
man.
there you go.
Good, thank you, thank you. Any questions?
Are these both the same?
That one we're not going to go over.
Okay.
That's just their
The
video
responses
preview.
to the question.
Hey, I got one.
Yeah.
In, with the golf committee, Tom's come in several times, and this is kind of just one clarification. He's come in and talked about various publications that put ads in and also distributions going out and so forth. Is all of that coordinated through these same sources, more or less, that, or is?
The issue that we've had in the past is that marketing has been done. Oh goodness! Sorry, back it up. We got. Has been done in all the different departments, and you know, like as an example, the stories about Chuck. You know, it's great that they did that, but we didn't have a coordinated effort from the staff side of things when that happened, and so we didn't do it as well as we should have done it. Okay. And so because marketing has been split up among all of the departments doing that, we haven't had a really good approach to how we take care of marketing. So now bringing it all into one department, our intent is to make sure that our calendar is singular, our approach to all of our sales and marketing is singular, our support of sales of the properties is singular, and that we know what all is going on out there and that we can monitor it, we can mark it, we can benchmark it, we can do all of that. And that anytime you guys are doing something in golf, as an example, we can support that through our marketing efforts. And instead of you going out and having to do that, we're
Figure how we're going to
supporting.
get it, how we're going to get it out. At least the source
We need to
code.
be doing that as one singular voice.
Okay.
And that way we're getting that voice done, the same branding, the same
Right.
messaging, all of that. And it shouldn't have to be going out in 15 different styles and across 15 different venues, and all that needs to be done
Okay.
one way.
Nice.
That's the plan. We hope. Okay. Did I go over my 15 minutes? I'm sorry if I did.
No, because you were doing kind of both things at the same time.
Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
We did give them questions to answer.
We
And-
did, and one of the things was that they felt like some of the questions would be answered by the presentation in reading through it, and that the rest of the questions would be answered when they went through the RFP process. And that they did not want to burn up any more time or our funding to go through the process of answering questions, and so they elected not to do that at this point in time. So,
Okay, understood, although that's very concerning because as we mentioned, a lot of those questions are reflections of what was done in the last couple of years.
Mhm.
And so for us to make recommendations, even for you from where you sit, to be able to make sound recommendations, we need to know what has worked and what hasn't worked. And they're not being willing to answer those puts us in a very awkward situation.
And it is kind of a silly argument because.
Don't kill the messenger.
Well, it's their opportunity to present their best side.
and that was what I put in the,
And
you
for
saw the
them not to
cover,
do
I said,
that.
this is your opportunity to present yourself prior to the RFP package, but they elected to wait until the RFP package. And that was, in our initial conversation, I said they may wait, and that we very intentionally tried to stay out of that, and even positioned it that it would be great for them to be able to present early, but they elected not to. So that's all I can say.
Okay.
Okay.
We got it. Thank you so much for going through that with us. We appreciate it. It's been a long, hard time just to get us to that, and so we appreciate it a lot. A lot. So, no answers to the questions except what Jamie covered in her thing, and that helped somewhat, and we appreciate that. Thank you. So the old business update on the hiring for the new marketing position. Wow. Has the budget gotten in the way of that?
The media has gotten in the way of that, I'll put it that way. We have an offer out to a communications marketing manager. That's the title. But he has not yet accepted the position. Is hopefully by next week will let us know. But he's waiting to research us a little further. I'll put it that way.
What, did you say marketing communications officer?
Communications marketing manager is the title of the.
I've got it all messed up.
That's okay. That's all right.
Got it.
Dan and I've been butchering it back
Yeah,
and forth for a
okay.
long time.
Got it. Okay.
Not sure that it quite tells what this person does, but
Whatever it is, the title.
Gotcha. Okay, so we have an offer
the
out, but
person's
he's-
stuck with doing
hang on.
marketing.
Good. Thank you very much. So let's get on to the SWAT, the village SWAT that we've been trying to do for the last couple meetings.
Yes.
This is kind of our last another of our last pieces. Jamie came up with some really good things to consider when we're doing the SWOT. So here they are.
I got one.
You got one?
Yeah.
I'll bet Diane's got one too on her computer.
Probably. Which one are we
Here, you
looking
can
for?
give her the piece of paper. She hates paper. Give it to her anyway.
I can bring it up if I know what it looks like.
Oh, there you
I have
go.
47,000 files. Which one do you?
Oh, yeah. Well, it depends on how you did it, but this was in an email that I forwarded on to you guys. So why don't we go ahead? Am I going to be the scribe?
You did
I
such a
Yeah, I'm
great
not standing
job.
by it this time.
You're not.
Good thinking.
Okay, we got that.
Yeah, I actually don't think I have this.
No way.
I know I
You
can't.
do.
You
It
have
was an email.
everything.
It was an email
Probably
to
somewhere.
Tanner.
Diane,
It was in her
you have
email.
everything.
Was it recently?
Yeah, just
Yeah.
a couple of days ago.
No,
Oh, I might be able to find it.
Yeah, I mean, it was like Friday.
yeah, it was.
I think so. It was an email that I think came from
From Linda?
me because I was.
Yeah, it was from Pam.
Let's hope we have enough room on here. All right, so let's start with S is for strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with the strengths because that's a positive, upbeat thing to do. So these are the things that Jamie thought would be really important. So like, what is our unique selling proposition? As a village, do we have one? Is that a strength that we currently have? What is the village all about? When we're selling the village, what are we selling?
Well, according to our tagline, we're selling the dream. I'm just saying, that's our tagline. What does our tagline say? It says we're selling a, whatever it says.
So is that a strength?
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
The SWOT is about the village as you are marketing it? or
Correct.
Literally
Or just the
our
village?
Correct.
opinion of the village?
Earlier, we did the strengths and weaknesses of marketing
So
in the
now-
village.
It's just the village.
So
Oh,
now
so
we're,
now it's your opinion, not
Yeah.
our, but
what are the
your opinion.
attributes that are marketable? What are the things that are detriments that we have to overcome? What are the opportunities
so
that
it's not what is being marketed, it's you actually just want to talk about the village?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. As it would be marketed.
So our
In a
unique
marketing
selling
form.
proposition is it's a place to live out your dreams.
Thank you. It was a place to live. Well, I'm just saying, if we're having that as a tagline, obviously that has to be a good selling proposition, right?
well,
So.
Well,
but is it
But is it?
unique?
I think, oh,
Well,
I'm sorry.
I,
I'm in the audience, I'm sorry. I don't wanna get in trouble.
Can't you?
Well,
is it
the-
unique? No.
yes, you bet.
Bella Vista can say
No.
that.
No, it's
Yeah.
not unique.
Relevant, I mean, it's not current, it's not
It's not unique.
right, and it's a little too cliche, and
Okay.
I think.
But okay.
So yeah,
It's still a selling point that regardless of what the tagline says today, we can make that a unique proposition in some way because we do feel it is a unique place. In some people's mind, it is the dream place to live. So regardless of how it's, I guess, worded today, we still can make it into a great. My opinion is we can make it into a great
Many people refer to it as paradise.
paradise. Something, but does that make us unique still? Yes, in our own way, we're unique in our way of why we believe it's a paradise. We just need to hone in on
You didn't
how
have
to
to
say
make
that, right?
Yes, he did.
All right.
talking about it from the standpoint of living out your dreams, I
You're a
just
great
met
humanity.
a gentleman who said, I cannot wait to live out my dream of living on a golf course lot where I can play golf on every day
Yeah.
on a different golf course.
Well, And it
So
was funny.
That was his dream. He said, and that's why I came there.
But, and that's funny that you said that, because when we were going through there and we said the same, I'm like, don't dream it, live it,
Right?
right?
Absolutely.
Don't dream
That's a
it,
great
live
one.
it. And it's like, yeah, yes, you can dream it, but isn't it better to live it? So I just think it is a great selling point. We just have to figure out how to bottle it right.
Yeah, I think you're right,
Some
because I was
competitions behind
thinking,
golf
I was
courses.
thinking the dream becomes a reality type of thing, where,
Yes.
where your dream
That-
is now
yeah.
real.
That's what I'm saying, is you can live it, so.
So
Yeah,
it-
so-
that
Well,
Okay, so
I don't know
how about
to
if I
say
do it this way? Because we don't have to word it, but what it is what is it about the village itself that is a strength
Yeah.
to use for marketing it? So dream,
You-
little
you write so much
arrow
better, Jane.
Do what?
You
to
write so much
reality.
Yeah.
A dreams to reality. There you go.
There you go.
Will that work
Yes.
right now?
I like
Okay,
Oh, and I
What-
got a picture of that when we get done.
when we get done.
Yep.
Well, so you've got 9 golf courses, you've got 12 lakes in total, is it?
11 that you
Well,
can use.
So strength, can we say amenities? Or do we want to do the 9,
I wouldn't
11?
say amenities
Those aren't really,
because-
yeah, I don't think of those as amenities. I think of those as features of the
Yeah.
village.
Right.
Is
The
that,
features? Attractive features, golf, lake,
About
trails.
diversity of activities.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether we have more or more diverse activities than other locations.
attractive
Not
activities
sure we do either.
or features?
Well,
All in one place.
I feel like we're
all in one place. That's good. Attractive activities all in one place.
it's like you're in a country club in the middle of a forest, and how do you that's
Our
that
natural
the
setting.
location or the something about the geography. I don't know. I mean, everybody's dreams are different, right?
Our
My dream is not to be on a golf course.
Did I hear natural setting?
And,
Our
and
natural
golfers would
serene
not have that
setting.
dream of being on a golf course either. But something about how we're.
How can
we
you
have
say
this great-
serene,
Yeah.
given what's going on the last couple of years?
Well, I mean,
Nothing serene about it.
I'm telling you that, and it's so funny because that you say that, because my husband's favorite thing is that he looks out and sees the golf course out
Uh-huh.
my backyard. When we're sitting there on our back porch with our glass of wine,
Mm-hmm.
I look right past the golf course to the forest that's on the other side of it, and for me, that's nice and serene. The birds
there
are
you go.
feeding on the
Yes.
feeders,
Yeah.
the flowers are growing, everything else. And he goes, "Why do you see something different than I do?"
Because I've had more wine than you have.
But, we just, it's very serene to me because,
Okay.
by the time I get home, especially, the golfers are not on the golf course. So it's beautiful and it's green and it's pretty and I can see it as something totally different.
What else?
Can have a
What else do we
conference of
have?
that too.
We talked about attractive activities in one place.
I
What
thought
else?
is the cost of living here and the property taxes and that is that not is that not a unique selling proposition?
It's
Thanks,
awesome.
Dan.
Take care of each other.
Yeah.
That's what.
Affordable?
Affordability.
Wait, yeah, affordable's a shorter word to write up here.
You just put it as an A as far as I'm concerned.
A dollar sign.
I still think you need to do something about cost of living.
Yeah, well, that's what cost of living.
That is.
So we
Because
just
I
did
can
cost of
tell you,
living
when we
comparison.
moved here, we were paying $12,000 for our taxes in Houston.
Yeah.
And with what we're paying here, and we have a bigger house, so.
Yep.
Affordable.
More bang for the buck.
Actually, it's value for money.
Why do you think all
C-O-L.
these people?
Cost
It's value
of
for money
living.
here. So
More bang
How's that?
for
Oh,
the
it should
buck.
be
yeah, cost of living. Got it.
That's
Okay.
a quarter, Marcy.
Okay. They give it to you?
Jesus.
I'm anxious to hear what people think we do better than our competitors.
Well, we had
I think that's part of the challenge because we don't know what our competitors do.
They check us out pretty good. I can promise you that.
Well, I'm sure they
Did
do,
you not
but I
check
mean,
out
just
the competitors before you came here?
Yeah, but not extensively. It was more by geographic area than by, I wasn't looking for a retirement village, let's put it that way.
I mean, but you'd have to
That's my
look
thing,
at.
our closeness to great attractions.
Mhm.
And we can get to Memphis, we can get to Dallas, we can get to Branson. We are centrally
located?
centrally located. But for me, it's
That's
not
a
even so
reach.
much centrally located, but I can get to
Yeah.
anything I want to get to.
Yeah, I used to live in Brussels. In 2 hours, I could get to Paris or Amsterdam. It's a little different here.
Yeah.
You know?
Or England, or.
So I can, for me, I can live in the serene, be out here in the quiet, but I can get to anything I want to get to. If I want to get to a big show, I can get to a big show. If my husband, we were all just looking at the Eagles concert in Dallas.
Can
Yeah.
Can we put location and somehow come up with the subsets of what location means? I mean, location is the natural beauty, location is the centralized or the ability to get
Proximity.
around and proximity. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot of things to do with locate. I mean, I think having the airport close by is a big plus. You know, there's a lot of things to do with
It has a lot of
location.
factors.
Is our location better than our competitors?
For
Are
some-
they close to airports? Are they close to what big shows? I mean, I don't know all of them.
Close to medical.
And close to medical,
Well,
medical's a big deal.
You,
Yeah,
you compare it to the villages,
right.
and they're just outside Orlando and Tampa,
Tampa. Okay.
and they have big airports, easy access
Which would
to
be
everywhere.
Okay,
Hmm?
so,
The closeness to that is what made us run the other way.
mm,
But
Some
I
people
mean,
like that.
yeah, it depends on how you define attraction.
Well, and that's okay, and I think that's something that we're aware of, that we're not for everybody.
Well, and that helps you to define your
Yeah.
customer again.
Yeah.
You're looking for that,
Yeah.
you know, I don't want to be that close to a huge metropolitan area.
right.
But I want to be close
Still
enough to
well
get to
close,
one and when I want it.
And
You know, a lot of people that live here though, basically like to drive places, really. Don't want to spend the money on airports, so forth. You live, I mean, competitors, you live in Florida villages, for example, West Coast is out unless you're gonna fly.
Right.
If you live in the Phoenix area,
Yeah.
East Coast is out unless you're gonna fly.
Yeah.
You know, here, I mean, in a sense, you can go about almost anywhere in the US and you can get to a car.
so lots of things we could say about just location and lots of avenues to go. But is our competitive advantage, does that not go back again to affordability and cost of living? Or our value for money? I mean, if you set them side by side, are we, trying to stack up cost against each other? Are we all the same? Do we end up,
There was a study done recently about cost of living.
I guess a square foot per price, the same
Was
cost is?
did that map come from you?
It did.
That was awesome.
Wasn't it a great one?
Yeah, I
I
sent it to you guys.
yeah, well, I'll send it out to everybody. You told me not to send anything unless I sent it to you, so
Okay.
I sent it to you first.
Remember it.
Well,
But
and I
it-
sent it to all of them.
Oh, okay, where it shows that to be able to afford a house in Arkansas, you have
Oh,
to
yeah.
have basically a $47,000
So,
income, whereas comparison to some of the other states, we're like in the top, or in the 5. You know,
yeah,
we're in the lowest to be able to afford a home, whereas some of the states that we're marketing to are
Yes.
the highest.
so that is
Wasn't there one on
an
stretching your
advantage.
dollars too, that the dollar here is worth like $1.16
Uh-huh.
compared
It's
to
actually, I think,
California where it's worth 86 cents
Right,
type of
yeah, I
thing.
think we're actually at $1.47 here. I'm not correct. That may be wrong.
Didn't matter, it's a competitive advantage
Right.
if we are showing that side by side, if your 2,400 square foot home here is, I don't know, 200,000, but a 24 square foot home and one of these other ones is 250.
I think it's real estate, but it doesn't apply to like food and things like that.
Actually, if you go on the calculator,
Yeah.
on the front page, it'll show you actually what the difference in potato chips and
Yep.
hamburger and everything is.
Yep.
And for some things, it depends on which city you're
But-
comparing it to.
But I'm also thinking of POA fees, I'm thinking of utility cost, just in general, do we show an advantage to our competitors if you were to break it down side by side? Is it,
Well,
if
and
we look good?
if you showed it against the 5 Cooper properties, we are one of the lowest of all of the Cooper properties. If you compare us amenities compared to that, we are the lowest.
We are the lowest
So
And we
are
offer more.
amenity rich,
amenities.
We're
high
amenity,
affordability, natural something.
Yeah.
I don't know how to word it exactly, but you've got it written down there basically in all of those lines.
so for all that we have, we still have one of the lowest POA fees or assessment fees.
We are the lowest of any of Mr. Cooper's other communities, by far.
Well, when we say competitors, we are talking more than just Cooper or?
I know, but when.
I mean, I'm asking, are we?
You think here you go play a round of golf for $33 or $34. I called and talked to my former country club, and for me now, I was a member there 17 years, president of the board and all that. But if I go over there tomorrow to play golf, it's $275 for 18 holes. So,
You gotta really love golf.
Yeah,
yeah, well, you do. Well, that's for an outsider, that's
Yeah.
not for the members.
yeah.
But our fees are just,
Okay, anything else under strengths?
Well, well, I'm just on the list. What do we do? What do we do better than our competitors? Do we have an answer for that? I don't have an answer for that, but it was one of your questions.
Jamie must have an idea in her head. Yes.
No. And what do our members and our visitors like most?
That's tricky because I think again it's going to your target market, your focus, because some people like golf best, some people like pickleball best, some people like
Just
just
like
coming here
lakes.
and putting their feet up and reading. So yeah, that's a hard one to answer.
So what assets do we have as a community, as a strength?
I think we got
26,000
these.
acres.
We have. Yeah.
We are the largest gated community, so that's one of our biggest assets to sell
engaged.
in gated.
Well, as a community, and I was looking as a community, we have, I don't know that it makes us unique, but I always hear there's something more than 200 different volunteer groups, not necessarily that that's a POA thing, but it just shows the diversity and the opportunities of things to do. You have a, community center that brings in shows. I don't know that, does it make it as different? No, but we need to have at least some of those things that some of the other places have.
Well, we're a community that lives and works like a city and has the offerings of a city.
Yep. That's true.
And that makes it really nice. And when I think of that,
Yeah, I think that's a tricky thing to say though, because there are a lot of people that live in cities that are going, get me out of here. So if you say we're like a city, they're going, no.
well, not like a
no.
large city, but like a city,
Town.
and when I take that back to like our competitors, many of them do not have roads, they don't have fire, they don't have police, they don't have any of that. They have to rely on outside communities to support them in doing that, but we have it right here and available to us.
Yeah.
And it's all part of our infrastructure and how we take care of our community. And so,
I'm not sure that's a strength.
And you had that, I had that, what resources do we have? And I had put police, fire, helicopter, ambulance, and gates.
And for me, that was a strength. You know, when we were looking at this as a community, I saw it as a strength because we didn't have to rely on anybody else. Because if you're in a place, you know, we've been in a community where you had to rely on outside city services.
Yeah.
And if you were outside of their range, you might not get an ambulance. You might not get somebody to take care of your fire services for you.
But we're paying for that, which is not necessarily a strength.
Yeah.
Because
But
we're
at
also,
68
RTXs are paying for that same,
Yeah.
those same things from Garland and Celine, so.
And I think I was coming at it from an infrastructure strength. In other words, if I'm looking at a community and I find that their community doesn't have on-site fire departments, or they don't have their own police force, maybe that persuades me to look at a community that does have their own and provides that within their community, rather than, like Jerry was saying, an outside place that takes 25 minutes to get to the house for an emergency instead of being in the village. So I was thinking more through infrastructure, that we have all of these things in place. And yes, we are paying for it, but does it make a difference when you're looking to go live here or there? If they don't have those same things, maybe this puts us a little bit ahead of the map, or ahead of the pack, I don't know.
Those are good, and those are good points, and those are good things, but I think that we're trying to think at a little bit higher level of marketing, because that's the type of thing that as you start your research, you drill down and then you find out things like that. That's not a lead marketing piece. Does that make sense?
Yep.
We have more control over our own infrastructure. Does anybody care?
I don't know.
Okay, I think we're running. So let's go over to weaknesses. What do we see as areas where we could do better, or we need to be aware or concerned from a marketing perspective? What you're thinking? Go ahead.
No, I'm trying to pull myself up.
Oh, okay.
Out into that marketing.
Well, I can tell you what we identified that our competitor did better, and that was to sell properties. And that was why we changed our model.
So one of our weaknesses is, so can we expand it? It's like, how do we generate revenue? Or we don't
That was in that.
we don't
specific-
maximize?
Well, that was just in that specific vein. I mean,
Yeah.
as an example,
No, but that's a good.
we went to look at all of the other different Cooper properties and say, how are you selling out? And Teleco came to mind. That, I mean, they were selling them at triple the rate that we were, and we were like, how did you do that? And so based on what we looked at from all of those different venues, we came back with a proposal of how to change things so that we could do that, because it would make us a stronger community if we could do that. We had identified prior to, that's one of the things that we needed to do.
Well,
And-
weakness is lack of growth is what it is.
So,
Or lack of a growth model at this time, or,
But we're trying to think of in terms of marketing.
yeah, I mean, when people find out that,
could it,
people compare us to other communities and find out that we've grown like this or been stagnant as compared to,
But when somebody's looking at like the villages, do they go, oh my gosh, they're growing so fast, that's awesome?
Well, there,
I don't know.
could it
Depends on what you want.
Well, and
That's what I'm saying,
and
do
it
they?
shows internal, you know, that's one of the reasons I put internal on here. Could
Yeah.
it be stagnant lot sales?
but that's not really the marketing. It's not a weakness that you're overcoming with your messaging or your marketing program. That's the result of overcoming something. I mean, like,
But our marketing
I would
has to
look at
support
it that we have a lack.
But that's maybe the weakness, because, yeah.
We have a lack of overnight housing. We don't have
Okay.
a good
Put that
hotel.
out there.
We don't have places that people can come and stay. And when you have family come in, that's a big
Okay, so
deal.
Put that up there, lack of overnight housing. No hotel.
Are we not gonna mention our website?
Well,
We'll
we should mention the
go.
website, yeah.
Okay.
Accommodations.
I'm not writing the whole thing out. So website, you know, we don't talk much about the website, but anybody, somebody goes to, what's the living,
Explorethevillage.com.
no, the,
Ideal living?
what is it, Ideal Living? And they see Hot Springs Village. Where do they go? Onto the internet, to our website.
Directly to the front page of the website.
So
That's why we're renovating it.
our website is really, yeah, it's really, really important. And you're working on it, but right now, it's still a weakness. It's still a weakness.
Location isn't perceived weakness. I mean, a lot of people just will not consider this because they're saying, oh, Arkansas, we live in Arkansas.
Why would you ever want to live in
Then
Arkansas?
is the weakness Arkansas or is it the location?
I would just put Arkansas.
Put Arkansas.
It's something that has to be overcome though, basically.
That's right. The image.
You're right.
Or maybe the image of Arkansas.
Yeah.
Arkansas
true.
image.
It is true.
Yeah, once you get past the dueling banjos.
Dueling banjos.
Is that where that was done here?
Was it filmed here?
That
No.
was West Virginia.
I think you have to go back to strengths and definitely put the gates.
I did, largest gated community.
We got
Okay, so
yeah, we
the
did.
fact that it's the gates.
Yeah.
Because then that makes people feel they may not be.
You don't have to worry about dueling
Arkansas.
banjos because we've got gates.
Yeah.
And I'm just going back to her, with Jamie's list and
Go
thought-provoking
ahead.
questions.
Yeah.
And she's saying,
Go.
what advantages, amenities does HSV lack? And
I can't think of anything.
I mean, for me, and I know this is gonna go over like a turd in a bathtub, but,
That's so picturesque.
I know. I feel like there's no central
Gathering place.
Yeah, I don't want to use town center, but I'm using like a central, like, you know, we just don't have a place. I mean, something's at one end or the other, and they're different, and it just seems to me like if there was just a central place that,
There's no town square.
yeah, there's no town square. There's no town square, and
You grew up in Texas.
I
No, I
didn't
grew up in
Texas.
I grew up in
didn't.
California, and we had a
but-
fabulous little town
but
park
we
that
have-
was the central
where I
focus
was,
of everything in the middle of
yes.
wine country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
No, a gathering
a
location.
gathering
Yeah.
location, and that could be just, you know, many different things. And the fact that, I know a lot of people complain about the grocery stores, that is a big deal. It is. I mean,
No,
I-
they've sold it, and so there's. no-
yeah, I think about that when I drive to Benton to
Is
go
it
to
good?
Kroger's, like,
Grocery
am I gonna
stores.
wanna
It
do
is?
that?
Yeah, it's supposed to be closer to a Kroger style, which.
It's not
you know,
Trader
groceries.
Joe's, but it's good.
The Trader Joe's is opening on our.
I know.
It's a Trader Joe's and.
The traffic from here up there will be huge.
But the-
Caravans.
This one has sold.
Yeah, I thought it was a Berkshire, I don't know, it was rumors, but I think not having that stable, what do they call those, anchor stores? And that anchor store is, it's.
It's a big deal.
I think Walmart would consider itself an anchor store.
But it's,
But
It's not.
it's on its own, it's just
That's
hanging
true.
out there, right? I'm just, things
other
are coming
thing is
out.
there's no,
Shuttle services, I don't know.
there's no recycling program, which does come up in discussions with people that are.
More and more, because
Yeah.
the generation that we're marketing to now,
We're
you're
interested.
right, is very conscious of that.
The recycling out there every week. big thing.
Do you,
Oh, God.
when you went to the competitor sites, did they have town squares and do they have recycling programs?
Many of them are creating within their, and I'm going to use Chillico as the example again. They created the pocket neighborhoods
Okay.
and put gathering places around it. Many of them, they've created around their restaurants.
Yeah.
They've created gathering, and I'm looking right outside behind you here, gathering locations like that so that people can do that.
Okay.
And they're, as they're renovating their locations,
Thank you.
they're building those in.
Okay. So that's a weakness.
Reliable, consistent broadband.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, yes, yes.
So true.
Yep. Definitely on my list. And add the word high speed and not modem. Yeah.
What else? Are we good? Move on to opportunities. What else is on the list?
Well, we had on here what internal factors interfere with our success.
Say that again?
One of the questions were what internal factors interfere with HSV success?
Well, I mean, you'd have to put up there the current climate of, the current culture, or the current climate of the governance and
I think it's
the lack of feeling of unity or synergy or trust within the community.
it's the old, our village residents are our best marketing tool,
Yes.
and they're our worst
Unhappy.
marketing tool.
Right.
Can we give that an acronym or something?
Yeah.
Sure, we used to, in my industry, we used to have TWIWAD. What's that? That's the way it was always done. TWIWAD. But it's so true. So if I put resident climate,
Yeah.
no.
It's
Political
not just
climate?
resident. It's
Political climate?
more of the
Resident satisfaction.
resident satisfaction is probably a better term.
And that's more clear for,
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's a tricky one, because if you ask the resident if they're satisfied with the activities, with the naturalness, with the affordability, they'd all say yes.
Yeah.
Well, you can say satisfaction with,
Could you say resident happiness? Or
Well, it's satisfaction with governance, maybe.
governance or
governance.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
with
Yeah, if we just
management or whatever you want to say.
Would you like to stand up here now?
No.
No.
She's never going to stand up here again.
Okay.
No.
You sure?
See, you will wonder.
And is it governance?
Is it a
Governance process?
It's not the process.
Huh?
That's not the process.
okay?
Transparency.
So is that pretty good with
It's a trust
weaknesses?
thing. It's a trust thing.
Yeah, it's trust.
Yeah.
Good weakness.
Maybe, could we just put trust out
Yeah,
to the
it's
side?
trust, really.
Yeah. Yes. We could. We want.
And just for the note, we're 3:42.
It's 3:40 on my Fitbit.
I'll give you 2 minutes.
Oh wait, how come yours is different than mine? They're supposed to all be on the same clock.
Sorry.
Well, welcome to the broadband.
Mine is 340.
Okay.
I'm 340. So we must be right.
You
Yes.
must be right.
Okay.
And it's a good thing that I'm 2 minutes ahead, so I'm always early.
That's right.
Are you on to threats?
We're on to opportunities.
Oh, sorry, opportunity, just didn't see the O.
What do we see as the opportunities for marketing? A lot of the opportunities kind of go back to Our strengths.
recommendations.
Uh-huh.
Like keep those and improve on those.
Well,
I mean, that's
Well,
really
one of
it.
the things that
one
I
is
had,
to, I'm sorry,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead. No, I'm sorry.
well, one of the questions I had on there was, how can market fluctuations aid HSD growth? We're in a really good position right now because of our economic, low situation there, to be able to grab hold of some markets where they're really having high issues and draw them into us.
Yes, like all,
So can I go, the opportunity is markets with high cost of living?
yes.
Does that work?
And it's not only high cost of living, it's the other factors, but as I put it with them, is to answer their question.
Yes.
Traffic, cost of living,
Yeah.
weather, all of those things that they hate.
Markets.
We answered up there as strengths,
Yeah.
You know.
Markets was.
I don't want to be sitting
I'm
in
trying to
traffic for
think,
an hour and a
I'm trying
half.
to think of 2 words to encompass everything beyond cost of living.
All I did on mine was answer their question. Because when they're looking on the internet, they're looking for somebody to solve their problem or answer their question. And they're looking for like,
It's unsatisfactory living conditions.
yeah, be their solution.
Oh, how about that?
What-
Well, I don't know. It says
Unsatisfactory living conditions?
and that can be
Or
cost of
unappealing living
it can be
conditions?
Traffic, it can be whatever, unappealing, unsatisfactory.
Well, unsatisfactory living conditions might be my husband's beating the crap out of me and I can't do anything about that.
Yeah, you can. You just told us about it. We'll come and take care of them.
Yeah.
Like that.
No,
We got it.
But anyway, however we want to fit it, but.
It's more than just the cost of living, we need a plus, but COL plus.
Plus, yeah.
We'll give it plus.
Okay.
Well, and
Plus.
if you go to the Facebook or our face page, we
Uh-huh.
have like the 5 major questions that we answer for them right there in that big red box.
Yeah.
Cost of living, traffic, all of that.
Awesome.
You know, a lot of the major themes of what those recommendations were are the opportunities. Things like we have to rebuild trust and relationships within our region because we don't have that right now.
To rebuild trust between members and management.
We have to do that. We have to learn to communicate effectively to our members.
Rebuild trust, communicate better.
Rebuild the regional, I think is really important.
Build trust, local and regional, huh?
Come up with a recycling program.
Yeah.
What do you mean by trust, regionally trust? Dan?
We don't have a real good reputation outside of the village.
Like in Hot Springs or Little Rock?
Hot Springs, Benton, Little Rock, State.
Okay.
We just have not, we
Put
spent a
the
lot of
effort.
time tearing it down, and we haven't put much effort into rebuilding it.
What other opportunities should I put? The other opportunities are
Here where they're economic or political.
weakness
and-
to strength. Can we do that?
Yeah, I was gonna say all the opportunities to
Yeah.
bring the awareness through our marketing to get the growth, all the things that we haven't done.
Build
We're
awareness.
fixing, build awareness is,
We're a really well-kept secret.
I would say so.
Measure the success of our marketing techniques.
An opportunity, yeah, to have metrics on our marketing.
Create metrics or measurements.
It's hard to write down here, you guys.
How about getting road signs on the highway to Hot Springs Village? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just
That's
saying.
a very
You
complicated
must be
thing.
going by really fast.
What's that?
You must be going by really fast.
There are no signs that tell you how to get to Hot Springs Village if you're on 5 or even
Just
7
that
until
one-
you
the
get,
one from 5 where it tells you 18
Yes.
miles.
yeah, you don't, there are no signs when you're trying to get to Little Rock that go turn here in Hot Springs Village. There are no road signs.
30
You
is
need,
nothing.
what you need to do is submit that to Stephanie Heffer because they're working on the wayfinding system right now.
And that's
Outside the
great, but
village?
not, but
Both inside and
we don't
outside.
have state signs that would say,
Yeah.
you know, when you're driving on the highway, you can turn here. It's just strange to
She's
me.
working on proposals for both inside
Yay.
and outside.
There-
Okay.
there
That's
are-
hard.
there are
Good
very
deal.
specific criteria for
I'm sure
for
there
those
are.
signs, so.
But once we get our new golf one,
The golf thing, yeah, they're gonna do
That'll be
that
one.
30 minutes out.
That'll be
Okay.
one.
that'll be one.
Yay.
Actually, I think there's like 2. It's going in 2 locations.
Okay, so the golf. So I told you I do newsletters for some of the realtors. And one of the things I put in the last newsletter was about the Isabella and the golf trail. And then I put a link, so click on this link to see the Arkansas Golf Trail. Out of hundreds and hundreds of people, only one person clicked on the link.
Yeah.
I was like, that's disappointing. I thought they'd be more excited. Okay, threats. You hit
The
it.
high-speed internet, not.
Yeah.
Uh,
What are the threats?
Economic downturn.
Yep. Well, I'm talking about stability.
Hmm?
I was looking at my notes, something about stability in the marketplace. Climate change.
What else?
To
That
answer
I'm
the
not worried
question
about.
of competitors, you know, when they're looking online, they're looking at Tennessee, Florida, Fairfield, Glade, and Bella Vista are the 4 that they're typically looking to compare us against.
Competition?
Financial health?
Is that economic down? No, that's different than economic downturn.
You mean village
Village.
financial health.
Self-inflicted financial health?
Something like,
Self-inflicted financial health?
We don't want this to be too controversial.
Understood.
We want it to be educational.
Can we say poor, ineffective marketing is a threat?
Yeah.
I mean,
These
Well,
are supposed to be
yeah.
what's that?
external
Oh,
threats.
Not necessarily. They're internal too.
Well, I mean, if we were going to do, I would say that if ineffective marketing would be then a weakness.
okay,
The threat are things that come at us from the outside.
okay.
But if we're looking forward, and if we don't have the right structure, the right things in place, that's a big threat.
Maybe could we position it as not competitive in the marketing?
That's another issue.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just thinking if we were gonna still spin our wheels where we have been, and it just continues along that line, that's a threat to me.
Well,
We,
and to me, that's being non-competitive
okay,
in the marketplace. We're just, when I look in Ideal Living and there's 10 different places and we all look exactly the same,
Mhm.
we're not competitive. We're not standing out. And that's a threat to us because
That's
we-
true, but if we're buying, if we're gonna repeat some of the decisions that were made over the past couple of years, then that's a huge threat. If we don't organize the department properly, that's a huge threat. I mean, we can say it's, it's something else, but it's really, it's a threat because you can't effectively and efficiently pull off the program without the proper organization, proper structure, proper funding. Just can't do it.
So
Then not having enough
would
money to compete.
I don't know if it's that we don't have enough money. I think it's
Not
I
having
was just
enough
thinking
marketing
about
money.
the timing, and if we do not do something now it basically is timing. We can't wait anymore to assign, time, money, people to our marketing effort. Can't wait anymore.
So with the threat, so give that to me as a,
The threat is more procrastination, continued procrastination in marketing the village properly.
does that work?
Yeah, I think what she's trying to
Jamie's
say.
going, but I'm working on it right
No,
now.
You are.
Oh,
That.
but
But up until,
It's time to act.
Dan, you were something.
Passive, instead of being passive with the efforts, we need to be aggressive,
Yeah.
right? And
Passive
if we
marketing
continue to
effort.
be passive, we're not going to,
Passive marketing effort is good.
and I don't,
We'll all know what that means.
So isn't another threat, isn't another threat, and it goes back to the best marketing, worst marketing? Isn't another threat the continued divisiveness?
yes.
Negativity is a big threat. I mean, it's
It
actually,
is a huge threat right now.
I've known right now some people that actually said they weren't gonna move it just because they've heard so much,
Oh, yeah.
you know?
It undoes our marketing faster than we can put it out there.
And we had somebody that came to visit
Yeah.
and got negative comments at the gate, and got negative comments when they were inside. They looked at a couple of houses, got negative comments from the people that lived there, and headed back. That
Wow.
was it.
I'm sure that happens all the time.
Mhm.
Is that about covered? What else? What are we missing? It can't be another weakness because I have no more space.
Mhm.
And I don't think that it can go without saying that there has to be change in our
Culture.
Yeah, and that's a two-way street. I mean,
And
of,
I think it's still trust then.
So is that an opportunity? Is that a threat? What? Tell me where you'd put it.
well, it's an
Where?
opportunity to change culture, I guess.
yeah,
Does that work for you guys?
I think it's an,
So it's an opportunity?
yes, to,
Change culture?
When you had said it, Dan, our image, that we have out there,
Change.
it's our biggest threat right now, is how people are seeing us out
Yes.
there. And our biggest opportunity is to change that in the public's eye
yes.
right now. Because if we can do that, it's not hard to sell this place.
No.
We're wonderful.
Yeah.
But right now, people are going, I'm not sure I want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
So what's the
Hot mess.
so give me the opportunity part again? I
Well-
was writing image over here
Well,
as a
is
threat.
to change that image.
Yeah.
The
It's our
opportunity
opportunity
is
to
to
change
it.
write, maybe write the image.
Our thread is the
Correct the
continue-
image
Yeah.
Correct, yeah.
or improve,
No, you have to correct.
correct?
This
Yeah.
one you can't improve, you have to fix.
Well, that's right. Improve assumes there's some foundation. It's
That's
a
not-
good starting point.
Right.
Correct.
An opportunity is for the silent majority to be more vocal.
Amen.
That's, right now, that's kind of a lot of negativity is from a small portion that's out there. And there's a lot of other people we talk to that say, man, it's the best place in the world to live, but yet they're not vocal. And
That's
that word's
right.
got to get out. So that's an
Yes.
opportunity for that to get out and
Yep.
overcome the negativity.
Amen.
Well, we really don't
That
know.
comes under communicate better, maybe?
Well, we really
I mean, the
don't know how
communicate
much-
better has to be two ways. It has to be going on. Yes?
One thing that's really, really a big thing, it may feel like it's down in the weeds, but when people, come and look at us and internally and everything, the fact that we're a community that's involved in 4 to 5 or 6 lawsuits is a very big deal.
And that's an image thing too.
Yeah, that
right?
sort of goes back to the
We don't lose that.
divisiveness,
Right.
negativity,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
image, is it?
It is, I
Yeah.
think it's part of our image.
Does anybody see anything else glaring that we're missing? We don't have a vendor name up here or anything. It's all generic. It's all generic.
Yeah, the one thing you want to be very careful of though is the distribution of that chart, because it has some things in there that would be detrimental if put out on the internet.
Yes.
I can guarantee you it's gonna be on the internet.
What?
That,
No, what would be detrimental?
Well, just somebody from the outside looking at it
Oh.
without the explanations could read things into resident satisfaction with governance and trust and divisiveness and negativity and those things.
Pam, may I take a photo of that just to take home to Chuck?
Are you gonna put it on the internet?
he's got it on the video right there. Where
He's
you
doing a
think that's
video, it's
gonna
gonna
be?
be on the internet in about 48 hours.
But also the transcription will be as well, so the background of the discussion will be there, which is important.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
And yes, you may.
3
Okay.
minutes.
Anything else? 3 minutes and counting. All right,
Are we
good
are we
job.
thrown out tonight at 4?
Oh, they're gonna throw us out?
We
Wait,
started
what happened to
late.
bingo?
There's
Do your presentation at bingo, there'll be 100.
Also,
I was gonna say, we should have just done this at bingo.
as soon as they get going to everybody.
Okay, so, all right, so let's move on, because we finished. Yes, we finished the SWAT. Finally, this has been on how many agendas? Good job, everybody, appreciate it. Appreciate everybody's help and comments, that's awesome. So, the other thing, report on the CEO request for marketing subcommittee
Put that
activities.
on next.
We can go next, down to the next one, discuss reports from CMPAC regarding the marketing plan. Jamie started
Yeah.
that, as, so that we're not starting from scratch, so that we can move through it more quickly, and we'll work on that, probably in our workshop. And
Do
then,
you want me to distribute that to you and then you'll get it out?
is it, yeah, you got it electronically, right?
Yeah, I'll just send
Yeah,
it
just
to
send
you.
it to all of us.
Okay.
Thank you for asking. And then, what we're gonna start doing, now that we finish this information gathering, data gathering phase, what would you think of somebody on the committee doing kind of a summary report on those findings and information gathering? I think we need to do that, don't we? We need to summarize that.
We should.
You want me
So,
to draft something?
hmm?
I can draft something if you like.
That'd be great. Okay, so that's gonna be your
The
project.
findings on that, okay.
And then I think moving forward then, let's start taking advantage of people's expertise more. So Nancy is working with Jamie on the RFP. And she's got some awesome information. She's got a great start. You guys have a lot to do on that, huh?
In a very short
Yeah,
time.
it's going to take a while.
Yeah.
We have some good samples of ones that have been done in the past through the organization, that we're trying to input all of the questions and from what came out before into that. Integrate it.
You may want to
Good,
pare
good.
that down a bit though. That was,
I know. That's why I wanted.
That
to get with you.
7-page list.
we
Yeah.
looked after this.
Yeah.
We will. I just need to get something to Jamie.
Yeah.
Good deal. And then let's start working on projects like having Chuck and Chuck, focusing on kind of golf messaging for golfing. Would that help?
Golf
They can
messaging
work with
for
Oki.
what
to use in advertising and promos, just kind of, they're golfers.
Okay.
Who? Chuck and Chuck?
Mm-hmm.
My Chuck's not a golfer.
He doesn't, well, why is he always promoting golf? Why
Because
does-
he believes that that's a key element.
Well, okay,
But-
that'll work.
But as far as, does he know how to?
He doesn't have to know how to play. He knows how to, he needs to know how to promote it.
Okay.
So those are things that we'll talk about at the next meeting and kind of assign people to projects. And that said,
Well, can just give a couple
Oh.
other things.
Yes.
One of the things on the RFP is we're trying to get that done in the next couple of weeks so that we can begin to get the RFP out. So our goal is to try to have that done by the end of this month, right? The actual document done so that it can go out for bid. So that will be happening on that. Just wanna
and
make
how
sure.
long are you giving people to respond?
We want to have their responses, their questions back by the 14th of November, I believe it was, and the RFPs back by, so that we could respond to questions, and then the actual RFPs back the Wednesday before Thanksgiving.
What is the RFP for?
So it's
Sorry.
almost,
PR firm.
Almost a month for them
Almost
to do
4
their
weeks.
work part of it, their
Well,
work
the Wednesday
product.
before Thanksgiving would be
3
3 weeks.
3 weeks, which I think is plenty.
Yeah.
I mean, if we get it out by the end of October, but actually Thanksgiving is the very last week of November this year.
It's the fourth Thursday.
Which is like the 27th
Right.
this year. It's
I'm
not.
just looking at a calendar.
I
Well,
thought it
yeah,
was going to
'cause
be the
November
22nd,
1st
but
is
it's like the
Friday.
27th.
Isn't it?
So,
I forget.
Yes,
Anyway,
November
the
1st
point
is
being, we're
Friday,
trying to get it
Wednesday's
going
27th.
for that. I'm
Good
also
deal.
working with Diane on social media and website pieces for the minutes, just to make sure that's in there, that we're doing that. And then
So I
also-
think we've got it.
and also to make sure that everybody's aware that we're working on the agenda and pieces for the October 28th Realtors meeting. The preferred Realtors meeting.
Will you send me the
Why are we
notes?
doing preferred realtors?
It's not, it's called the Preferred Realtors Program, so that, but they're designing it. We're not designing it, they're designing it. So that they can come in and work with us on a program. And it doesn't have to be called anything, that's what it's called in other communities. But the idea is that there's ones that meet certain criteria to be able to work with us on selling of lots. And then there's also a builder's guild. And if they decide they don't want to call it that and they want to do it a different way, then they can. But it's the
That's your starting point.
real estate program, I'll put it that way.
Cool.
But it's the 28th, and we'll be meeting with them.
Good. Excellent.
Do you want to
Excellent.
send me a copy of what you worked on with your marketing plan, comparing the two documents?
We're gonna
I'm gonna
we're
send it out to
send
everybody.
Send it to all of us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah, because Jamie got a really good start on that. Sophie, is there
Guys,
anything
say-
you'd like to share with us from the golf committee?
Just, we mentioned something about golf, and, you know, Tom just come up with that new video. Is that, I didn't want to know if you're aware of that. I'm not sure exactly if that's gone out to or anything yet, but he does.
That's neat.
yeah.
I've looked at it.
The
Yeah.
3 videos.
Oh, okay,
You've
those
seen
are
all
the ones
those?
that you're working on for social media?
Well, we've gotten language. We've already started using them out a little bit. We've got quite a
It
few
was-
responses.
It had
on
a
them.
link on the
Really?
latest
Yeah,
Golf
thank
Digest.
you.
It had a, there's a link to
And
it.
and I can get those out to the whole committee as well. But yeah, we're getting some good responses off of people sharing them and utilizing them.
Good deal.
Because one's a little bit longer one, and you have 2 shorter ones for people to use.
Can we help and can we work together on pulling the villagers in more with the social media, having them, since they're our best marketing
Absolutely.
tool?
You know, and I'll be glad to send over to you. I sent over to Chuck earlier yesterday. You know, we have the 1-pager of Why the Village, you know, that people can use on email that we created quite a while ago.
Yeah.
And, you know, you can at least look at that
Yeah.
and see what you think
Yeah.
about it. We have the 3 videos, we have the brochure, we have the rack cards, We have a number of items, but I'll send you the email that I sent
Okay.
to him of things that we already have ready for villagers to be able to utilize right now
Okay.
to go out.
I think it's just important that when we're creating materials for the villagers to send, that it not sound like a sales pitch. I won't email my friends with a sales pitch.
Right.
So it's got to be warm, friendly, fuzzy,
So,
whatever.
and we can get.
I love it here because
Well, I have suggestions, but I can guarantee you, I gave, 4 of my friends asked for it, and I gave them, and I said, here's some suggestions. And they go, yeah, right, fine. And they went off and wrote their own thing. So.
and some people will do that, and more people won't. If you don't give them a starting point, or you don't give them at least a skeleton to work from, they're not going to do it themselves. That's just
And I
human
think-
nature.
And I think if we give them both, then they can
Yeah.
decide what they want to do with it.
Okay, good deal. So, anybody else, questions, comments? Yes, Marcy?
Okay,
We're going to be thrown out of here in just a minute.
okay. Let me I just want to understand, you're saying that the actual realtors or the real estate community within Hot Springs Village is creating the program, not the other way around, because, so you're saying they're coming to you to create this program?
We are inviting them to a breakfast, lunch.
A brunch, yes,
brunch,
we know about that.
to sit down and discuss how to develop this program. We don't
But
want
you're
to-
initiating it.
We're initiating it.
Okay, so they're not
And
actually.
we're initiating it, but, as soon as we said
Trying to
Home and Lands was closing,
Mm-hmm.
the phone calls started. And we said, so instead of us meeting with you individually and talking about how to execute, let's get everybody together
Yeah.
so that we're all on the same page and we're doing it consistently and evenly, and however we want to do this program. We want to hear
And-
from you how we're going to do this.
Where does the preferred word come from?
The Preferred Realtors Program is one that they do in Tellico Village, and they have literally a contract where, everybody, the realtors, the builders, and Tellico all came together and said, and it's one of the reasons along the same marketing messaging, they all wanted to have a consistent message that all of them were going to put out there about their village in order to sell it better, market it better. And so they came up with a preferred program of how to do that.
Are you checking the legality of that with the state?
We can check that, but.
Because being a realtor is just being in a club, but being a licensed broker, it has to do with state, and you may want to check
I
that.
can check that out and see.
Okay, and just the question, I understand we have a tagline and all of that, I'm part of it. What would you say is our brand that we're putting out there?
And I'm not gonna, in less than a minute, gonna go over all of that.
Yeah.
No, just,
Please don't ask me
One
to do that
sentence.
right now.
oh, no, you
Yeah.
don't,
I don't wanna get into it right
we don't
this
have a
second.
sentence, okay.
I don't have a sentence for that right
Okay,
now.
okay.
So probably
Yeah, it's actually something that we've been asked to all work on.
Absolutely, because the brand has been presented in about 10 different ways, and we want to get consistency in that brand, and it's something we want to
Okay,
bring
good,
to the
so that's what we're working on. And up until now, actually in 2017, we were told that the 4 groups we were using, Gadati, Sparkfire, Render, and Urban Communications, all were taken off of contracts. They were all, what's the word?
Terminated.
Well, all their retainers. They all were on retainer, and they were taken off in 17. Are you saying that since then, Gadati was still on retainer with us until now?
Well, we still have a contract with them through the end of 2019, okay?
So they work.
As of right now, we are not currently using their services. We've brought everything in-house at this moment in time. We don't have anything left on their contract to fulfill, okay? We
Are we paying them a monthly retainer?
right now. What we are doing right now, and that's one of the reasons we wanted to get the RFP completed, especially before the end of the year, so that we feel like we need to have a creative and ad agency and media to support our marketing efforts. And we want to get that defined as to what that gap is for us that is still missing and that we need to fulfill.
Okay, my last question is, did you say that you hired the marketing person?
No, I said we have made an offer to someone, but they have.
That's what I'm saying.
They have not accepted.
You're honing in on one person.
We are honing on a person, but they have not accepted.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, adjourn. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
A couple of things. Someone had what I thought was a very clever and interesting and free idea on Nextdoor for marketing as villagers, and that is he's just adding a link to our website underneath his signature block on every email he sends out. How simple could that be? I mean,
It is a
if we
good
all did that, you know, a friend or somebody might click on it and fall in love. Second thing, you mentioned clothing and gear and such. As a non-golfing villager, I defy you to find anything other than the stuff they sell at Walmart sometimes that says Hot Springs Village on it. I begged Tom Heffer, begged him to get some gear because that seemed to be the only place you could buy it.
Right.
Of course, all he's interested in, obviously, is golf-related stuff. When are we going to get some interesting things that the rest of us might want to wear?
I would ask for you to talk with Stacy Hoover, because she and I just sat down and had this conversation about gear that would be liked and bought by the villagers, other than golfers. Because I'm just saying,
Yeah.
I'm not a golfer.
Not only by the
And-
villagers, but people that come here to visit.
Yeah.
That's a great
Yeah.
market.
So,
Give them a sweatshirt.
and so she has some great ideas on how we might be able to turn
Well,
that
and
in.
somebody on Nextdoor had an idea too, which
Okay.
was, how about a village-wide contest to design a T-shirt or something, you know, with a positive message on it.
Absolutely. So she had, I would ask you to visit with her.
Sure,
If you've got
I
some
will.
ideas on what might be, because she's actually looking into that and doing a business plan around gear.
Terrific.
Okay, now do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion, I make a
Second.
motion to adjourn.
Good, we're adjourned.